Christian, the main character and eldest son, currently living in Paris, is walking home alone through the open fields. A few moments later, we see Michael, Christian's younger brother, is driving with his wife and children. When he spots Christian walking, he pulls over, tells his wife and kids to get out and walk the rest of the way so he can give Christian a ride. Helene, their sister, is in the back seat of a taxi. She leans forward and tells the driver,
Prøv her, hvis du kører en lille smule hurtigere, ikke, så giver det mit telefonnummer.
They're all heading back to their childhood home for their father Helga's 60th birthday, after years spent living abroad. A few moments later, they finally arrive at the house, but find no one there. Michael rings the bell. Eventually, the receptionist, Lars, comes out and coldly informs them that Michael and his family aren't invited. Michael snaps. He starts arguing, raising his voice, demanding to be let in. But Christian steps between them, calming his brother down. He turns to Lars and tells him to just give him any room available. Shortly after, Helene arrives. She hugs Christian warmly, but when she sees Michael, her mood changes as she asks him what is he doing here after not attending their sister's funeral. Linda is their fourth sibling. She died by suicide the year before, but we'll come back to her story later. Michael fires back, telling her that she has no right to tell him what to do since she just arrived the latest. The argument escalates, but once again, Christian steps in, telling them that they're both too old to be fighting like this and that they need to go meet their guests and relatives. They head outside together. The guests begin to arrive. Christian, Michael, and Helene welcome them in. Christian soon finds his mother, Else. She tells him to go say happy birthday to his father. Christian walks into his dad, Helge. Helge tells him to sit down because he wants to talk to him about something important he has been thinking about for days.
Der sidder to ludere I en togkupé.
Helge offers him a cognac with him, but Christian refuses and he just sits quietly, but he keeps rubbing his hands. Helge then tells him that he's getting old, so he asks Christian to get married and come back home to settle here, since he is the eldest, to take care of their family's legacy. But before Christian responds, Else keeps rushing them to finish their talk and go see the guests. So they both get up, but before they go, Helge asks Christian if he could say a couple of words about his sister Linda, and Christian tells him that he has already written something. Helene is given her dead sister Linda's room, so Lars escorts her to the room. Helene asks Lars to help her remove the covers from the furniture, so he does. As they're removing the covers, Helene glances at the bathroom and then tells Lars.
Det var herude, det skete.
Lars just stares at it in shock, not saying anything. Moments later, they hear something in the bathroom. Helene tells Lars that Linda is still here. Lars is standing in shock and tells her that Linda is dead. They both decide to go inside and take a look. Helene finds little signs and drawings on the walls that her sister Linda left her, similar to a game they used to play when they were younger. Kind of secret game, only they understood. They trace the signs across the walls until they find an arrow pointing up. So Helene makes him lie down in the bathtub to be able to see the ceiling better, and tells him to look for a sign or an arrow. From there, they spot it. A fish drawn on the ceiling. A symbol they used to use to mean flat or down. They keep looking down on the floor for other signs, so they find another arrow pointing up. They both look up towards the ceiling lamp to find a folded letter taped beneath it. Helene takes it and reads it silently as she starts crying. But then she looks at Lars and tells him that it doesn't say anything. She then thanks him for his help, but once the door closes, Helene breaks down, quietly crying. Then she hides the letter inside her medicine tube, presses the cap down, and sits there in silence. The birthday party starts. Everybody arrives in the dining room, all dressed up and ready to celebrate, waiting for Helga. Helga stands in front of everyone to make a toast. He says that turning 60 is not unique. He reflects on summer 1971, when he and his family arrived in this home for the first time, and how happy the kids were, saying that it feels like yesterday. He begins to get emotional, so he just wishes everyone to enjoy the party and invites them to eat. Then we see everyone starts to clap their hands, except Christian. Everybody has joined the dining table, and the waitresses start serving the food. As everybody is busy talking to each other, Christian stands up to say his speech and make the toast. Christian asking his father to choose a color, so Helga chooses the green one. Christian tells him that it's an interesting choice because it is kinda home truth speech and it's called Dad's Bath. Everyone starts laughing. Then Christian continues saying that he and his sister Linda were young when they arrived in this house. This room was a restaurant where he and Linda used to always play and put things in people's food without them noticing. He talks about how Linda used to always laugh and that she had the most beautiful laugh and that they would always get caught, but nothing ever happens to them, as the most dangerous part was when their father takes his bath. He says that when Helga wanted to take his bath, he would take him and Linda to the study room, as there was something he had to do first. He'd lock the door, lower the lights, take off his clothes, and make him and Linda do likewise, and then put both of them on the green coach and rape both of them. Christian continues saying that when Linda died a few months ago, he realized how clean Helga was, taking all those baths summer, winter, spring, autumn, morning, evening, so he thought that he's got to tell everyone how clean Helga is, and no better occasion than his 60th birthday. Christian sits down. One woman laughs, another man claps, but no one does anything, no reactions at all. Just a few seconds later, everyone returns to normal and continue the celebration as if Christian hasn't just said the most horrific thing a father could do to his little children. After seeing everyone's reaction, Christian decides to leave. He heads to the kitchen where he finds the main chef, Kim, an old family friend he's known since childhood. Kim praises Christian for his courage and convinces him to stay, promising he's planning something to help. Kim's plan was to steal all the guests' car keys with the help of the kitchen staff and hide them, so that when Christian returns to continue his story, no one can leave. Everyone will be forced to listen and face the truth. While Michael is talking to Lars, a taxi suddenly pulls up outside. Michael goes out to see who it is and sees a dark-skinned man stepping out of the car. Without hesitation, Michael runs to him.
Hey, Charlie Brown.
He tells the man he's at the wrong place and needs to leave immediately, without even asking who he is. Moments later, Helene walks outside. She tells Michael this is her boyfriend, Batoki, and greets him with a kiss. Michael, of course, gets mad because he's a racist piece of shit, but Helene takes Batoki inside the house anyway. Back in the party, Christian returns. He apologizes for what he said earlier and tells everyone to stand up for a toast. They all rise.
Skål for manden, der dræbte min søster.
Everyone falls silent then. Guests begin leaving the dining room in a panic, but of course they can't, since they can't find their car keys. Some even decide to walk. Michael tries to calm the crowd, offering desserts and telling the pianist to play music. He tells Helge to go speak with Christian in private, while he stays behind to calm the guests. Helge walks back to the dining room and closes the door behind him. Helge sits next to Christian to talk to him. He tells him that he was a sick-in-the-head child, that he used to burn the other kids' toys in front of them, even his sister, Linda. When she died, she left letter to the whole family saying goodbye, except Christian. She didn't write him a letter. Eventually, after things settled down, the guests returned to the dining room. Again, they totally forget what happened moments ago and act like nothing happened, eating the fancy dinner, drinking, dancing, and sing happy birthday to Helge while doing their family traditions. But Toke sits next to him and tells him how brave he thinks he is. He says he's sorry for what happened to Christian as a child. Christian breaks down in tears, but Toke encourages him to have a drink just to get through the night. Then, Elsie, Christian's mother, stands up to speak. She uses the moment to address what Christian said earlier. She says that when Christian was younger, he used to stay in his head too much, that sometimes he'd not distinguish the real world from his imaginary one, and that he had an imaginary friend named Snoop, whom Christian would talk to all the time. She asks Christian to stand up and apologize to his father right now, in front of everybody. Christian stands up, he apologizes to everybody. But then he says that in 1974, his mother once came to the study room and saw her son on all fours and her husband with no pants on, and that he is sorry she had to see him like that, but then her husband told her to get out, so that's what she did. Michael explodes, he gets up, violently takes Christian with 4 other bodyguards, beats him, drags him into the woods and ties him to a tree. Back at the house, Batukai tells Michael that he knows what he did to Christian in front of everyone.
It's your brother!
Michael gets angry and starts to sing a racist song to him, so everybody sings with him. Helene feels sick listening to it, so she leaves the room with one of the house servants. She starts to panic and the girl tries to calm her down. Helene tells her to go to her room and bring her medicine. When the girl finds the bottle and opens it, she discovers Linda's hidden letter tucked inside, so she reads it. Christian unties himself and goes back home. The girl gives him the letter. Back to the party. While everyone's celebrating, they receive a note on the Toastmaster's glass.
En mand vil opfordre sin søster til at læse en brev for sin far.
Helene stands up to read Linda's letter. It says that she knows that it must be sad to find her in a bathtub full of water, and tells them to not feel sad for her because she is not, and thanks Christian, who has always been with her for everything. She says that she loves him so much, and she's sorry for what she did, but
Min far er begyndt at tage mig igen.
she can't bear it anymore. She ends the letter by saying that she's going away now, as should have a long time ago, and asks Christian to not be sad for her, and that she will love him forever. Everybody is silent. Nobody says anything. Helge then says that this was a beautiful letter. Now someone pours his daughter a drink, but nobody moves. He says it again, but still, nobody does anything. So he becomes paranoid and starts screaming and breaking dishes. Christian then tells him that he never understood why did he do it, so Helge tells him that this was all he was good for. Helge leaves the room. Everybody sit, frozen in shock. Michael, Helene, Batokai, everyone. Christian leaves the room, and on his way to his room, he starts to feel unwell and unable to walk. Lars sees him, so he asks if he should call a doctor. Then Christian suddenly falls on the ground, paralyzed, laying on the floor. He keeps seeing visions of Linda and hearing her voice. Christian wakes up on the sounds of the telephone ringing at midnight, answering Helene as she is telling him that Michael has disappeared. As they're looking for him, Else suddenly comes to them running and crying. She tells them to go see their father. So they hurry there, to find Helga being beaten on the ground and Michael taking his pants off. Christian stops him immediately and bends on the ground to see his father. The morning comes. Everybody is on the dining table waiting for breakfast. Helga comes in. As he's walking towards his chair, he tells Christian good morning. He sits on his chair to stand up again. He tells everybody that what he did to his children was unforgivable. And eventually he apologizes to Christian.
Til dig, Christian, der vil jeg sige, det var godt kæmpet, min dreng.
Michael goes towards him and tells him that was a good speech, but he needs to leave the room so that they can eat their breakfast. So Helga stands up and asks Elsa if she come with him, but she says no. So he just leaves.